Welcome to the Head Guy podcast. As I always say, this podcast has been sponsored by Cards in Qatar. If you're watching, you can see a huge big banner just going across your screen. They are the #1 website for all your cards here in Qatar. Birthday cards, greeting cards, farewell cards. You've got a new job card, wedding cards, etc., etc. Eid card, Ramadan cards. And then our other sponsor is Mahaba, the #1 destination guide here in Qatar, which has been going over 20 years. Hilary still hasn't told me how many years. And pick up a book in your local store or go online. So today I have a beautiful and special guest. I would say, when I'm thinking about Fabienne, I would say she's like a rock star, because generally when I see her, she is wearing a leather jacket. She's got a white shirt, skirt, high heels. She is not your normal looking, and I say that with a compliment. I don't say it, but you have a unique style.
Oh, thank you. You're making me blush.
No, but it's true. You've been a guest on Your Onion before.
Yes.
And, we've had a long relationship, business relationship, for a long time.
Yeah.
Even before Ginger Camel.
Yes.
We were in contact with Resolution, and you helped us there, and you've been there for me when I've needed you.
Oh, thank you so much, Stefan. That means a lot to me.
No, but you have.
Oh, thank you. I mean, I think because I run Servcorp and the nature of the business that we run, we support all companies. So it's not, our business relationship went on and evolved into a friendship, that's how it's supposed to be.
Absolutely.
But yeah, we're always happy to help, honestly.
No, but you have, even
thanks.
through good times as well as bad times.
Yes.
You've always come up with a solution, and nothing has been difficult.
Yeah.
It's not like where you say, no, these are our policies, procedures, this is our standard packages, and you have to fit in within that package. It's like, how can we help you?
Yes. I mean, the beauty of the business that we do is, and me personally as a person, is we have to be flexible, right? You can't succeed, and for that long time, we've been doing this for 45 years as a company, but me personally,
I was
going to
say, you haven't been doing it that long.
No, 14 years. 14 years, that's a lot.
It is a long time.
So, you learn along the way that you need to be flexible. You can't just fit in everyone in a small box and say, oh, well, that's it. So what we try to do, and what I try to do with Servcorp and me as Fabienne, is try to find a solution that actually helps companies and individuals establish, but then also help them grow with whatever requirements they need, if it is within our hands. So flexibility is really important, especially in these days. Can you imagine with the pandemic, with what is happening, with even before the pandemic, when we had the blockade, if you're not flexible, you're dead.
No, exactly.
And we didn't want to die.
No.
So.
I will come back to that.
Yeah, okay.
I want to touch on that. I want to go deeper on that. But I was just looking on your LinkedIn like I do with all my guests. And I don't know if I touched on it the last interview, but you were like doing pharmacy. You did a PhD in pharmacy?
Yes. I've actually graduated with a doctorate in pharmacy. And I've worked in the pharma market for probably a decade before I moved to Doha and worked with Servcorp. So
why not carry on that? What happened?
Well, nothing major happened. I've experienced the pharma market. I'm still very passionate about it. A lot of people would come in, still ask me. I think this is the copy-paste of the podcast.
Well,
before.
true. I need to listen to it. I didn't listen to it, but
anyways,
all right, we can touch on it very quickly.
Yeah, so I'm still passionate about it. But when I moved in 2009 to Doha, I said, okay, I want to try something new. And then I joined Servcorp. And with Servcorp, not only I've changed from a professional perspective on a personal level, but also I've moved on my career with Servcorp. Now you can see on the LinkedIn, I joined Servcorp as a floor manager.
But this is it, because I didn't realize there were certain positions in Servcorp. I thought you were always running Servcorp here. And it's got manager, then you went to senior manager.
Yes.
And now you're general manager, where I always thought you were general manager from day one.
Well, that's the impression I gave.
So was there a general manager when you were here, when you first started?
When I first started, there were no general manager here.
Okay, so have they created a general manager? Why?
Well, the thing is that I've started as a floor manager with one location.
Okay.
And then along the way, I've expanded the business. And then my position grew from that point onwards. And I became the senior manager for 4 different floors in Doha. And then I was appointed different countries at that back at that time. So I had Qatar, I had Lebanon, I had new territories.
So that's still, was that under the senior manager position?
Under the senior manager position. And then I think 18 months ago, I've been promoted to general manager, where I'm now handling Europe as well, including in my territory. I know it's very sporadic.
As a general manager, why don't they call it country manager, or why don't they call it a regional manager like normal companies do? Why general manager?
Well,
Because
Servcorp is very special. I mean, you have to earn the title. You can't just, it's not about only...
Well, it's funny you say that, because I was having breakfast this morning with an Australian.
Yeah.
And he said, ask Fabienne what it's like to work with Australians.
Oh my God, that's a tricky question, because I can't, I mean, this is going live everywhere. I mean, my CEO might actually listen to it.
He needs a few home truths.
It's quite interesting. I mean, the titles in Australia, to be fair, are completely different than the entire world.
Oh, really?
They're different. Senior manager for them is really senior. It's just not, someone stepping from a junior position into a more senior. No, senior manager is actually a very senior position. Now, when you go into a general manager, and to give you just an idea, there are only at the moment 4 general managers in Servcorp. Globally.
So, all right, because it doesn't really give me more insight. Where are these general managers? What regions are they looking after?
So you have a general manager who does. We are 2 general managers to split between the Middle East and Europe.
2. Okay.
Then you have a general manager in Japan that does only Japan, and then you have another senior person who does Southeast Asia and China.
Hold on, Mr. General Manager in Japan, hasn't he got an easy job if he's just looking after one country?
Well, when you consider 27 locations, that's not an easy job.
Oh, okay, fair enough.
So it really depends on the portfolio from a locations perspective that you have. So if you have more than 10 locations, then you are a general manager. So that's how it's done. Now, and we all report to the CEO, who is actually the owner and the founder of Servcorp.
I remember you saying that. But I just want to stop you there. Why the Middle East and Europe? Normally it's Middle East and Africa.
Yes.
Normally that's the region that you look after. Why did they decide, okay, you're looking after Middle East and we're going to give you Europe? What?
Well, I actually do have Africa's new territories. That's in my portfolio.
Of course you do, Fabienne. Why not? Let's give Fabienne...
I mean, Egypt is... we don't have offices yet in Africa. And Egypt is one of the countries that we are going to explore within the next step, and that goes into my area. What can I say? I mean, I normally get the difficult markets. If you want to, box it, what Fabienne gets from a country perspective, I normally get difficult markets.
Why?
Because I'm a problem solver. Simple as that.
You love a challenge, don't you?
I love a challenge.
That's why I said at the beginning you're a rock star.
You're absolutely right. I mean, I only get the difficult ones. But then, I mean, what is the fun in doing a job if you don't succeed and you overcome challenges? I mean, it's not fun anymore. If it's easy, it's not fun.
Very true. I remember the last time I spoke to you, you were opening offices in Iran.
Yes.
How did that go?
Well, we did. I had probably a huge operation, 4 different floors.
Yeah.
Spread in Tehran, and I mean, I'm not supposed to say that. I don't know. I mean, let's say
no, you meant
in
to
that
say
country,
everything. That's
in that country. Well, anyways, now we don't have them anymore. We closed them after the sanctions have been reinstated and all the political issues happening. We closed all our operations and we handed over to the landlord. So we are not operating there anymore.
How does that make you feel after all that work?
I mean, sad, but then life happens. You just have to abide by international standards, economic situations. You just can't jeopardize other businesses for different markets. So it was a success story, and I think if everything goes well, probably we'll come back. But at this point, we've closed everything, and I'm focused more on the UK market because it's a huge and challenging
Hold on, they're
market.
not part of Europe.
Sorry?
They're not part of Europe.
No, I said UK because I have Germany.
Yeah, but you said Europe at the beginning, so you've got UK as well as Europe.
Yeah.
Wow. So, all right, break it down. You got UK, you got Germany.
Yeah. Qatar, Lebanon,
So
new territories.
Not the other European countries yet?
Well, it's only France and Belgium anyways. No.
Spain, Italy?
Not yet. We don't have offices there yet.
Okay, but you will be in charge.
I hope so.
Just breathe.
Yeah, I'm breathing. I mean, let's start in fixing the problems where we have, which is on the right track anyways, in my areas, and then we'll see how it goes.
I'm just curious. I've been teaching the guys about time management.
Yes.
And how to literally control your time, be control of everything that you do. Give us an insight into how Fabienne literally controls her time and literally breaks it down so she is on top of everything, that it doesn't get too stressful.
Yeah. To be fair, I mean, I don't want to say something. It does get stressful, but I'm a multitasker. My mind is always working, always. I mean,
yeah, but people say they're a multitasker. It's not that you're a multitasker. You're able to switch from one thing to the next without it affecting you. So you're very good at focusing on one thing, and then you can go to another thing, but then you can go straight back to the...
I'm very well known on actually doing 3 to 4 things at the same time.
Wow.
Very well known. I mean, among my peers, among my colleagues, or the people who work with me, they know I could be speaking to them, and then I'm actually doing 2 or 3 different things at the same time and making decisions. I'm very well known of doing different tasks at the same time, but I do have my lists. I do delegate.
Yeah, just tell us, just give us an insight of what this looks like. Is it physical paper lists, or have you got a laptop that keeps you organized?
I'm very Jesuit in terms of lists. I have to write down.
You have to write down.
I have to write down. I do have my calendar, and I do have an amazing executive assistant who keeps on top of my tasks.
How long has this executive assistant been with you?
I think probably 5 to 6 years now.
All right.
Yeah, so I can't live without her.
Has that always been the way?
No.
Or have there been quite a few before that?
No, I mean, I did have another executive assistant, I mean, just to help on a part-time, but I think Cynthia, hi Cynthia, shout to Cynthia. I think with Cynthia, because my territory grew while I had Cynthia, she's been a great help. I only need to email her. She's very organized. She keeps me on top of things. I do have my own lists and my own calendars, but also she keeps on top of things. I do delegate a lot to her at the moment. I mean, but she's been working with me for a long period, so she knows the way I think. She knows the way I like to organize myself, to stay on top of things. Well, she actually reminded me today, although it's on my calendar, 30 minutes earlier, so like, yeah, by the way, Stefan. Like,
I'm glad.
I didn't forget.
I'm glad. I thought I haven't heard from her.
No. You don't need to hear from me because I know Cynthia will not make me miss anything.
Thank you, Cynthia. You're a star. Thank you very much.
She is a star.
Yeah. I'm just curious, knowing how Fabienne works, how has that been? Has that been a challenge at times, the way Servcorp works, or has Servcorp adapted to the way you work, or Fabienne's adapted to the way Servcorp works? How is that relationship?
Yeah. So normally, Servcorp has a business model that we have to apply globally. Like, I can't change the business model. But every single country and market has its own plus and minuses that you need to adapt. So I haven't changed the business model because it works. What I've done is that I've actually adapted that business model to every single market that I've assessed. So I assessed Doha, this is what works in Doha, this is what works in Europe, this is what works in the UK. So the business model is the same, but I just adapt it to what the market bears.
And when you're looking at the market, what are you looking for? What are you analyzing to make sure that Servcorp works in that market?
So first you have to look at what the competition or what is available. Although we don't have competition, but still, I mean, from an industry.
Well, no, that was going to be my next question.
Yeah,
about
well, hold on. From an industry perspective, I look at the competition. I look at the potential, because there is a potential in every single market. I look at people's behaviors. I study it. I learn it. I learn from existing clients, because if it's not a new market that I'm actually opening, where I do my marketing study and my feasibility studies, that's a different story. But if I'm into a market that already is established, I learn about behaviors, services, what works and what doesn't work, and then I adapt the Servcorp business model accordingly. What I actually also do is I educate. So you educate a client on what does a Servcorp business model bring to them. And this is not an easy task, because our business model is completely different from the industry. It's based on services. And then the serviced office environment is pretty well known. It's an office that has internet and furniture. That is not what a serviced office provider is. Absolutely not. So we educate clients and potential clients that, hold on, a serviced office environment is always about services, and this is what Servcorp can provide. So I actually base my marketing campaigns on educating and bringing awareness to clients on what to expect from a Servcorp serviced office. And it's been going well. I mean, for the past 14 years.
Obviously.
I think so.
But I'm just curious. Okay, you go into a new market. You see what the competition's doing, you do your market research, and then you set up Servcorp in that country. Or if you're already established, you basically educate new clients coming on board, etc. How do you feel you've done your job then, or are you always looking at the competition to make sure that you're on top of everything? Because the way people work now is changing, or has changed since COVID. We mentioned the blockade before that. Are you always tweaking? Yes. Are you always changing the model?
Yeah.
Locally?
Yeah, that's a good question, honestly, because you can't not go with the change. I mean, our product 45 years ago was different than today. We had serviced offices, and then in the 80s we created the virtual office, and then in the 90s, in the 2010 or 12, I think, we created the co-working concept. Then COVID, the pandemic came, and we've done the hybrid product. Yes, we definitely adapt to what the market and the changes of the market, but at the same time, always in respect of the Servcorp business model, always coming back to services. And that is how we survived for the past 4 decades. And that's how we still make a profit until today. That's how we made a profit during the pandemic and during the blockade, because we've adapted again. We didn't change the business model, but we've tweaked it in a way that supports whatever needs to be supported on that specific time.
So at the moment, are all the Servcorp, I was going somewhere, but I've changed my mind. Are all the offices, if I visit one Servcorp office in one country, would it be mirrored elsewhere, or will I get a look and feel according to the country that I'm in?
It's the same look and feel globally. There are different products, which are very simple: the serviced office, the virtual office, the co-working, meeting rooms and boardrooms, and now we are actually introducing the virtual office. We're renaming it and branding it still virtual office, but we're calling it also co-working with a twist.
Okay.
Yeah. So you will find these products in 150 locations globally. You enter into a Servcorp floor in New York City in Tower 1 World Trade Center on the 85th floor. It's like you're entering in the Tornado Tower. It's a copy-paste.
Wow.
So the look and feel is similar. That's why we don't change the business model. And when I said we adapt globally. We just don't follow a small trend in one country. We actually do globally. When we apply a change, we apply it globally, so that clients moving around all our locations and traveling do not feel the difference. So the product is adapted globally.
Who makes that decision? Because that's a big decision.
That's Alf, our CEO.
Well done, Alf.
Yeah.
But is he always going around?
Always.
But is he experiencing different service offices, or is he? How does he gauge that? Okay, now's the time to like upgrade, or
I mean,
facilities.
I'm always amazed by how on top of things he is. Of course, we speak to him, we provide feedback, but he's just amazing on how he is on top of things, the changes, the market changes, how things are going on, what do we need to do. Of course, he looks at the market, at the competition, people's behaviors. He visits, he travels half of his time, if not more, around the world to locations normally. So for the past 3 or 6 months, I've met him almost every month somewhere.
Wow. I'm just curious about you yourself. If you look at your span working for Servcorp, and when you meet you, it's like you are the owner of Servcorp. You live and breathe Servcorp. Do you reflect on that sometimes and think, maybe I could have opened my own business, or because you are Servcorp, true and true.
I think because we've known each other for so long, and you've only known me as Servcorp, but I do exist away from Servcorp. I do have an identity. I think it's me being passionate about a job that I've done. I mean, even if you've known me since I've done the pharma market, I've had the same comments when I used to work in the pharma. When I used to work for Sanofi Aventis, I mean, people would tell me you'd speak about things in a passionate way. I think it's my personality. When I do a job, I'm 100%, I'm 150, if not 200% committed. And there is always this passion. If I'm not passionate about it, I would not do it. Simple. So it's my passion, it's my commitment to a job and to a company that actually reflects why, and to answer why I don't open my own business or my own service office. Because it will be a service office and internet and furniture. And that's not what I actually promote. Servcorp is a business model. It's completely different. So if you're working with the best, why would you go and
No, but that leads me into my next question is, because you are a service office, you must have met a lot of businesses,
yes,
owners of companies,
yes,
and when they see talent like yourself, surely you've been people have come and say, hey Fabienne,
yes,
why not come and work for me?
Every single day. Every single day.
So what stops you?
I think I have a mission, and I had a mission with Servcorp to grow with the company. I'm a very loyal person. I don't know if it's right or wrong, but I'm kind of known for my loyalty. And when I'm committed to the extreme. I'm not the kind of people, like a person who looks elsewhere. If I'm committed, I'm committed. And I had a path and something to prove along the way with Servcorp, which I've done. I continue to actually look and prove with new territories, with new challenges. I don't think I'm bored.
But do you think Alf knows that?
Oh,
and
absolutely.
he knows that you need a challenge, that as soon as you get bored, then you're...
He's so smart. He can read it in my eyes. And I think this is why I get new countries and new challenges, because I believe that he knows when I get bored. So like, okay, now we have to give her something new.
Absolutely.
Because this is what has been happening. I don't know if it's by coincidence or him actually seeing it. I believe him seeing it. Like, okay, now we have to give her something new.
Yeah.
And if you look at the past 14 years, you would see in intervals that I've been given something new at a certain time where, okay, like now what's next?
Al's got something in his calendar going, okay, it's time now. Fabienne needs a new challenge.
He talks to me all the time. He would know. Okay. But I think I've built a very good relationship with him that I can tell him. And he tells me. It's I really admire him as a person and as a boss.
Superb.
Yeah.
I'm just curious, how do you keep that family work balance?
Oh.
Especially when you're given new challenges, how do you juggle that? I know you're a multitasker, but how do you...
I mean, if you speak to my children, who are now teenagers and adults, they can tell you, well, yeah, mom works all the time. like they would complain, mom, you work all the time. But at the same time, when you look at them and then they're looking at their future careers and how they act in society with their friends, you can see the imprints or my influence on them. So like, okay, my mom works all the time. They don't like it, but they do appreciate it. I don't think there is a balance. There is always something gaining above something. So they do understand that I will never jeopardize the work, but when I'm with them, I'll try at my best to give them the time. But I don't think there is a balance. I don't think you can equally give in both the same way. And I think my husband really takes the part where he, balances the part where I'm not fulfilling with my children. He has always been supportive.
Nice.
Yeah.
Did we ever find out what your husband does?
I don't know. Have you ever asked me?
I don't think we did.
Well, he's into IT and he works for Georgetown University.
Oh, okay.
Here in Doha.
So he's got that flexibility, school holidays, etc., etc.
Yes. I mean, he works at a university, so it's kind of different because I travel a lot. So
yeah, but when did that start? When you started to travel a lot?
Because I've always traveled. Even in the pharma market, I've always traveled.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Since Serena was born, and Serena, my eldest, is 21 years old now.
No.
Oh, yes.
Come on, Fabienne. Don't lie.
I shouldn't
You
have.
don't look old enough.
I shouldn't have said that. But yeah, since Serena was born, I've always traveled. Always. Even in the pharma market, when we used to have seminars, congresses. In pharma, you have to travel.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
And this hasn't stopped when I joined Servcorp. So it wasn't something new when I joined Servcorp. I think now the pace of traveling is more, but my children are older.
Yeah,
so
no, exactly. As they get older, it's more easier.
Yeah.
But didn't it not play on your heartstrings in the early days when you're away from them?
I was very young. When you're young, you're
No, don't.
I was going to say it, but when you're young, you don't think about it. You don't think about it. And I always tell them, when you have your children at the very young age, your mind and your your brain is not well developed to.
No, you're right.
To think about the consequences of your actions.
No, it's only as you get older you realize, and you look back on pictures.
It's like,
and you
oh
go,
my God, what have I done? But they ended up well.
That's the main thing.
Yes.
And the combination of you and your husband work nicely together.
It has to be a team.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, 100%.
It has to be both.
Yeah.
I don't think I would have been able to do it by myself. I do have 3 children, so it's
Wow.
not. Yes, so I don't think I would have been able to do it without Andre helping me.
Superb. Do you see them going into Servcorp? Is this a family thing?
No, Serena is in her 4th year veterinary medicine.
Oh wow.
So it's
yeah, but you never know. She, as you started in pharma.
Yes, but she's been passionate about it since she was 7 years old.
Wow.
So it's not something that she would come back. Zoe, who's my middle one, would probably go into med school. I don't know. And Elodie actually had her training in Servcorp 2 weeks ago. And she went back and said, well, it's interesting, but I'm not sure this is where I want to be. So.
Oh, she's very diplomatic.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Didn't want to upset mom's feelings. Just.
No, I mean, they do whatever they want.
Yeah, yeah.
You can't force it.
That leads me on to my next question is, does Servcorp have a policy or training to basically see someone grow throughout their career, that they don't want to lose people, or is there a high turnover of, how does it work?
So we're very well known to actually start careers. Like we encourage people to start their careers with Servcorp. So as soon as they graduate, even from high school, even if they don't want to go to college, we would take them in and train them along the way. We're very well known to promote from within.
Nice.
Globally.
Yeah.
I mean, I could tell you examples in my area where I had ladies starting as receptionists, and they are running their own floors at the moment, or they acquired managerial positions in Servcorp. They moved on to other companies where they've grown based on the Servcorp knowledge that they've acquired throughout the years. So we're very well known that we like to promote and train people, our people. So we hire with potential, always. That's why I ask about your son.
There you go. And you mentioned London as well.
Yeah.
Okay. I'll send him an email. So, you know.
You never know.
There's a potential there.
Yeah.
Well, he did. I don't know what he wants to do, but, you know, production is not for him, apparently. I was thinking of another question, and then it's just... Oh, yes. So, how old is Alf? You know, we mentioned...
I don't know if he wants me to say how old is he.
Is he getting to a point where he's looking for an heir to hand over? Would that be inside the Servcorp, or is it family? Is it kind of a family? Has he got a big family?
Well, he has children.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are they in the business, or?
They used to be. Yes, they used to be. They've grown in the business, actually. They've run floors. They were executive directors at a certain time. They were COO.
So it could be
but now they're not involved in the business anymore.
So there is potentially.
I have no idea what are his plans. Honestly, I haven't. I don't like to ask him because I want him to be there forever.
Oh, that's very good. That's very nice of you to say that.
Yeah.
I'm just curious. Are the other general managers women? Is it very much a women-orientated business?
I think the general managers at this point are half-half, 50-50. But Servcorp is 95% women.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's great.
Yes.
That's the way it should be.
Yeah. That's what I thought.
No, but I've always appreciated having women work for me, and they are very much, you know, as you said before, it's all about multitasking, and I see that. Yes. I see that is a skill that is, you know, very admirable, which is needed in business. I
think we've been such a supportive for women in business, and I think I'm a great example on where it takes you from joining Servcorp and building your career as a woman, as a married woman, as a mother in Servcorp. And I think 95% all over the world are women, and they're doing a great job.
Yeah. Superb. I'm just curious, how do you keep that? All right, we mentioned about the work-life balance. How do you keep yourself looking great, keeping yourself fit?
I exercise.
But where do you do that? Do you have a routine? How does it look?
I mean, for the past months, because I was traveling a lot and I spent 3 weeks in London, I haven't spent that amount of time, but this time it was a long period. Normally I do 3 times a week. I do between spinning if I'm in Doha and cycling if I'm in the UK. And also I do cardios, I do my ellipticals. So I try to at least exercise 3 times a week.
And is that in the morning? Do you have a routine in the morning? Is there a specific...
All the classes are in the evening.
Oh, okay.
So it's after work.
Wow.
And but I do make sure that I have 2 weekends. Like on the weekend, it's in the morning. So at least I can do the morning times. But yeah, they're all in the evening after work.
But I'm just curious, when you wake up, have you got a certain routine that you stick to that gets Fabienne ready to face the day?
Yes.
Well, come on then. Tell us. Well, what's the secrets, Fabienne? Because you've got so much energy. You've got, you know, and to actually do exercise in the evening is very hard.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't been doing it for the past couple of weeks, but that's
all right.
my
I'm
routine.
not focusing on the couple of weeks.
Routine,
everyone
normally.
has a lapse now and again.
You have to. I mean, I've actually done an hour and a half yesterday because I needed that energy to be filled in, and it makes me really, really happy. Mm-hmm. So I just need that stress to de-stress. I call it a de-stress 45 minutes.
So
or
that's
a de-stress
the way
hour.
You keep on top of your stress level is to do the exercise. You know that's the way that will literally get
nothing else works.
But going back to my question is, what's your routine in the morning? How does Fabienne get herself ready to take on the day?
You know, I read a lot. I'm a kind of like a reader. I read books. I do it in the morning.
Oh, you do it in the morning?
I do it in the morning. So with my coffee.
So you wake up.
Yeah.
get showered first, or are you just
No.
literally in your PJs?
In my PJs,
Grab a book.
before the shower, before anything,
That-
coffee,
That is your,
and the book.
so that's like your little meditation kind of
Yes,
go literally deep into. What kind of books are you reading?
I read everything.
Really?
Yes, I read everything.
Is that basically you walk past a bookstore, or if you're at the airport, you would grab a book, or
Yeah. I mean, physically sometimes, but mostly now it's online.
oh, okay,
yeah.
on
Ebooks on my
Yeah.
iPad. Yeah.
I've never got used to that. I like to physically hold a book.
I
I've
like
never,
to hold them too. So
Yes.
I have both. But because when you read a lot, I mean, you don't have a lot of space to stock books anymore. You could look at my cupboards. It's just no. It's overflown with books. So you have to at a certain time decide like, okay, I'm just going to go with the ebooks. And when I travel, it's easier. It's easier to travel with an ebook rather than the physical book.
Very true.
Yeah.
I'm just curious how, when you are traveling, and you said throughout your career you've traveled a lot, is there a certain, have you learned to pack lightly? Or are you one of
No.
these people?
Never. I just bought more
Oh,
luggages.
I love that. I love that.
I mean,
What the- Come on, you're a business person and you're traveling the world. You should have
I'm a woman.
system that literally goes.
no, I can pack quickly. But that you've asked me a question. Have you learned to pack light? The answer to that
No.
is no.
You've literally.
But I
learned to-
do pack quickly. But I'm a woman, so I need an outfit for work, and then an outfit for the afternoon for my exercise, and then for the evening, with shoes and bags. I mean, the hair is easy, right? But so you have to figure out if I'm traveling for 2 weeks, you can do the math. How many outfits do I need?
Wow.
Yeah.
So how many suitcases do you?
Minimum 2, and that's excluding my carry-on and my laptop bag.
And I'm
I'm
curious.
not ashamed of it.
No, I know. I see it. I see it. I've got 2 questions. The first one is about your house, your apartment, or whatever. Is it? Do you keep it? Are you quite a minimalist, or do you? Is there a lot of stuff there? You talked about cupboards full of books, etc.,
Yes.
etc. Is there wardrobes full of clothes, and how just?
Oh my God, no one has asked me this question.
No, I
now
just-
we're going into the
I
secret.
just really want to get in there. I just want to, do you keep everything to a minimal so you keep your mind free for focusing on work? That's where I'm going.
I try to be decluttered, but you can't with the countries that I run. And when you have cold in the UK and you have warm in Doha, you have wardrobes. When I used to travel to countries where I have to cover myself, like my head, I have a wardrobe for that. So even if I wanted to keep things at minimal, it's impossible. So I have cupboards for winter clothes, for covered clothes, for Doha, for Lebanon, for new territories. It's for exercising.
Wow.
So yeah, it's
Is there a budget from Servcorp for your clothes?
no. That's
Should there be?
I mean, no one asked me to wear, my
No, but there's an expectation, isn't there? There's
not the way that I do it.
okay.
There is a corporate.
Yeah.
I mean, you can do corporate on a very tight budget, and you can do Fabienne.
I can. Yeah, I'm there. I can see it. I'm just curious about the hair. Have you always had short hair?
I think I've had this hair 20 years now.
Why? Is it because it's easier? It's just easier to, get up and go? Was it?
I think I've always liked short hair because I have a very, pixie face.
You haven't got pixie.
I mean, small, features.
Yeah.
And it's easier for me, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I do like short hair. Like I like the way it's styled. I like it because it's different.
Was there anyone that you kind of did you have like someone that you looked up to in your earlier years that had short hair that you thought that's the style, that's me?
Nope.
No?
No.
You just found it by yourself?
Yeah, that's my style. It has always been.
Wow.
Yeah.
No, because that's why I introduced you as that rock chick, because you've got that kind of grunge look.
That's just my style. I've changed the short hair style along the years. I mean, depending on what goes or not from a fashion perspective. But I've always had short hair. I mean, it's less spiky now than it used to be 10 years ago, if you remember. Really? Yeah, it's less spiky.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a different style. You always known me in short hair, but I've changed it colors-wise. But it has always been me being comfortable. Me actually telling my hairdresser, this is what I want, not the other way around.
And have you had a relationship with your hairdresser for a long time, or has there been some instances where you've had to find a new hairdresser and it hasn't gone right?
Well, back at home in Lebanon, it's the same one.
Okay.
Since probably since 2000, same one. Never changed.
Male, female?
Male. They're all male.
Yeah.
I don't trust female hairdressers.
Okay,
sorry.
there you go.
Sorry, I tried a lot. It didn't work. But when I moved to Doha, I struggled.
So do you actually go to a barber's, or there's male hairdressers?
I go to the hotels where they have...
where they can do...
Yeah, always to the hotels in Doha. But I struggled to find the right one, and I have the right one now. It's been probably 5-6 years. It's the same one.
Wow. Good
I just don't want to advertise it. Because if it was him personally, but he works for a brand, so...
Okay.
Well, I mean, I'm just going to name him Eric.
Just name him. Eric.
Hi,
Good
Eric.
job.
Good
You're doing
job,
a good
Eric.
job. Yeah. And also, with the relationship with the hairdresser, with a man, is it more just focused on the haircut? There isn't that whole conversational part to it?
Yeah.
Or...
Yeah, there is. Of course.
There is.
Yeah.
You like that?
We share okay, I want a lot of conversation. We talk about my travels, about my work.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good on you, Eric.
Yeah, definitely. We share okay, are you traveling now? He knows when I'm about to cut my hair or whatever. It's like, oh, you're traveling next week. I say, yep, traveling next week.
Okay, that's when he gets the call. Right, I'm traveling. I need my hair.
Yeah.
Controllable. I'm just curious, because you've got this strong style presence, how has your customers reacted to that? Has there been positives? Have there been negatives?
Yeah, maybe you need to ask my customers. Maybe you need to ask clients. It's a combination of both, by the way.
Yeah, because, corporate, you can get some stifling,
What do you think?
No, I love your presence because that's the way I am. I'm creative.
Yes.
I'm working in this industry, so I appreciate when someone has this strong presence, the character, the colors, etc., etc. But knowing what corporate's like and being in situations where I've turned up in a brown suit and everyone else is in black suit, ties, boring.
I mean, it's funny. It's funny that you mentioned this because in the Middle East, it's intimidating.
What?
My style, my hairstyle is very intimidating. But then I'm petite in size, so
that kind of counterbalances.
Well, yes, but that's before I start talking. And then once I start talking, it becomes more intimidating. Because what comes out of this tiny little chick, as my CEO calls me, of my mouth, it's like, oh, okay. Now they adjust their position. So like, okay, we have to listen.
Because of how confident you are,
yes. Yes,
you're not like timid and.
No, not. I don't actually. What comes out of my mouth is not very equivalent to my size.
Absolutely, yeah.
That's the Middle East. Now in London and Europe, it's kind of not intimidating because they're used to. But from a corporate perspective, they're actually a bit surprised when they meet me in person. That I'm not older. That's the first thing that
really?
I sometimes I feel like I'm not older due to the position that I hold, but I'm old enough.
Yeah, but does that sit these days the way?
I don't think so. I mean, I've always been the youngest in certain things. I'm not anymore, of course, but throughout my career, no, I'm absolutely not. And the second thing that I feel like the UK or Europeans is because I am Middle Eastern. So at the first things, they're like, okay, we need to assess. And once I start talking, there's like, okay, we can speak to her. Yeah. And then they become really cautious because, eventually they have to consider our conversations, what we're talking about. Again, we shouldn't forget my position as a general manager. I mean, I need to represent not only Servcorp, myself, and the position. So I think it's been going pretty well now.
Well, I presume so.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
Alf is giving you all these areas to...
Oh no, he acknowledges and he appreciates my work. Absolutely.
I'm just curious. You did mention that you will be setting up places in Africa.
I mean, that was the plan a year ago, and then it got postponed a bit. So we'll see.
The world is looking at Africa more and more and more.
Yes, but at the same time, look what's happening from a market perspective there. So we really want to go into a market where we're 100% sure. This is how we do it. We just don't want to take the risk.
But that will be interesting for you to explore that.
I mean, I've done new markets before, so it's not going to be something new.
But Africa?
I don't think
no,
I don't
not
think...
phase. Just...
Yeah.
Water off a duck's back.
You know why? Because when we spoke about the sanctions in that specific country and how challenging it was, I don't think there are markets more challenging than this one.
No,
I don't think so. And when you look at what we've lived here with the blockade, and what I'm struggling with whatever is happening in Lebanon at the moment, from the currency devaluation, from the bank situation, from economic and political situation, like the war. I mean, we had a war at a certain time, and I was still running that specific country. So you look at other challenges and you say, yeah, well, what's going to be?
You're like a war correspondent. Literally throw Fabienne in there, she'll be fine.
I think it's resilience. It's called resilience. And I grew up in war. I grew up when there was war. Before even I moved here. I mean, I moved here as an adult. 14 years ago. But before that, I was living in a country where conflicts happen every day. So I think it's built resilience, and this is why, for me, challenges are just another challenge. I just need to find a solution for it.
Wow.
Yes.
One other question is, where do you find that within you, that passion, that drive,
that energy?
Where does it come from?
I don't know. I honestly try to figure it out, but then at a certain time, I just embrace it. I know that when I come into a room, there's this positive aura that comes with me. And if I'm not smiling, or if I'm not feeling like I'm bringing positive energy to where I'm going, I just wouldn't go. Simple.
Sorry, you carry on.
I was just going to say, people do not know me as not...
No, exactly. I wouldn't...
energetic and positive and smiling person.
Do you share this positivity? Is there a way that you can impart your wisdom, your positivity on others? How do you, when you're hiring someone, how do you instill in them that they've got to have that positivity, that passion? Especially if you've got someone that's a bit...
Well, when I'm doing the interviews, especially in the hiring process, because we're always hiring, like whether it's here, elsewhere in other country, because I have a big team, and then always opportunities. I speak to them exactly the way we're speaking, so you can see the tone of voice, the energy, the passion coming out. So if they are not receptive, then they're not the right person for Servcorp anyways.
You're always looking for that receptiveness there. But sometimes when you have interviews, people pretend that they are someone that they're not. Doesn't get through you? You can see it?
I can feel it, not see it.
That's interesting.
Yes,
I like that.
I can feel it.
Yeah.
And I always tell my team, I couldn't feel it. Like there's something wrong. No.
I'm just curious. Do you see that with customers as well?
Always. Always.
Nice.
And I tell them, oh my God, there are so many incidents that I pick up the phone and speak to the floor manager and say, okay, this client, be careful. That's all I say.
Because you felt it.
I just felt like
Something's
isn't
not
right.
Yeah.
And then a month or 2 months later, the floor manager would call me. It's like, I hate you. Or like, why did you tell me? Like, I'm sorry, but aren't you happy that you're prepared? Yeah, when I have a feeling, I hate to say it, but it's always right. Sometimes I like to be wrong, but then if I'm feeling it in my gut, like it's gonna happen.
I'm just curious, family growing up, either parent, were they similar? Did they have that?
My grandma,
Ah,
from my father's side.
she was a big inspiration.
Oh my goodness, she was my hero.
In what way? What?
She was very smart. She was an entrepreneur from her young age. She built from nothing. Like, she worked hard, but she built companies. She bought buildings. She bought lands, real estate. She was extremely hard, and she could barely write and read.
Wow.
I mean, she passed away almost 10 years ago, at the age of 84 or 86. But she was my inspiration. I've always actually looked up to her.
Nice.
Yes. Very, very smart, strong woman. And you can imagine being brought up in a village in Lebanon and then moved to the city with nothing. And then she actually worked hard her entire life, but she built something. Everything that my parents and my dad and his siblings did own throughout the years, it was built by my grandma.
Wow, what an inspiration.
Yes.
Did she have time? Did you have time with her that you could hear her stories? And
yes, when I went to uni, because it was far away from, I mean, it wasn't far away from home, but anyway, from one of the Lebanese problems back then, I stayed at her house because it was close to my uni, to my campus. And I stayed with her for 2 years. I was actually at her house 5 days a week. I used to go back to my parents on the weekend. So I've practically lived with my grandma. I mean, of course, she lived with us different parts of my life. When there is war, we were always together. But then in if you consider in my adult life, I've actually lived with her. And we used to have conversations with my grandmother, what she used to do, how she used to do things. Like, the first advice that my grandma used to tell me is that you can't keep your money in the bank. And we're talking, like, I'm saying 25 or 30 years ago, and she was back then in her 60s, something, 60-ish. And it's like, you have to reinvest them. And the safest way is real estate. I mean...
Wow.
She didn't go to college.
No, she just lived life.
Yep.
She experienced life.
Yeah.
What an amazing woman.
Yes.
Wow. So moving forward, we kind of touched on, not setting up your own business, etc., etc. Where do you see yourself in 5-10 years' time?
I am a planner by nature. So I always know what's going to happen or where I'm going to be in 5 or 10 years. Would you believe me if I said I don't have one?
Is that the only thing that you're kind of
pushing
not planning?
Away. Pushing away, not planning.
Time is moving on.
Yes.
We're not getting any younger.
No. I mean, I had a plan when I joined Servcorp, which I've achieved as a general manager and different territories, which that was my plan when I first joined. Like, I normally know where I want to be in a particular industry, which is I've achieved. I keep pushing my next step away.
Further away.
Yes. I think why? Because it's not clear yet, or I haven't clarified it yet in my mind. I think I didn't have the time to sit down and think, okay.
Alf's not going to give you any time. He's going to keep on throwing you.
It's like I haven't had the chance to step back and say, like, okay, what you're going to do. But I will within the coming period.
I'm just curious, have you seen some general managers retire from Servcorp?
Yes.
And has there been any reflection? Because I saw that when growing up and being in different businesses that I saw people retire, and I thought,
Yeah.
no, I don't
Oh
want to
no,
retire.
I mean the one that I actually witnessed, because she trained me, Leon trained me when I joined Servcorp, and now I see her retired, and no, I actually want to do what she's doing now.
Oh, okay.
She's having fun, traveling around the world and taking care of her grandchildren. Yes, I want to actually do what she's doing.
But not yet.
Yeah, no, not yet.
Superb. Well, thank you, Fabienne. We didn't go
My
over an
pleasure.
hour, so you'll be happy.
Oh, great.
You go, what? Because I said max 120. Well, I can't talk that much. You've done 56 minutes.
Oh, great.
Superb. So I appreciate you coming on the show again.
My
Well,
pleasure.
for the new show. And you really lit this show up. I
Oh,
appreciate that.
thank you.
And please keep us up to date with everything that goes on with you and Servcorp or anything else that happens. If you want to come on.
Thank you.
Yeah,
I will.
Maybe in a couple of years.
Well, yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
we're still here.
Absolutely. We are still here.
So
Well,
see you soon. See you soon then.
Thank you, Fabienne. Thank you, guys. Thank you for watching The Head Guide. Just a big shout out to our sponsors. We have Mahaba, the #1 destination guide here in Qatar. Please grab your copy in the local supermarkets or go online. And another shout out to our main sponsor, which is Cards in Qatar, the #1 destination for all your birthday cards, greeting cards, farewell cards. Glad you got a new job cards. Take care. See you next week. Bye-bye.